Alright, so now we finally have the professional wrestling Pokemon. The masked Hawlucha. I really don't know how to hype it up, but you know what? Here's the pro wrestling Pokemon with the amazing mask, great moveset, and probably one of the most iconic Pokemon of all time. Behold, Hawlucha. We have literally, well, me and a couple, if you are a fan of pro wrestling, you love Hawlucha. If you are a fan of pro wrestling, let me say that again, you love Hawlucha. Also, in the main series game, Hawlucha was also really, really dope because if you had one on your team, you could literally fly in place and destroy everything and sweep like Gen 6. Like, it was amazing. Like, that's all I gotta say. Hawlucha was amazing. It's just so good, okay? Hawlucha is amazing. Anyways, that's enough about Hawlucha. So Hawlucha is actually, in Pokemon Go, it's actually really good as well. Now, what makes it kind of interesting is that it does have a unique typing. Fighting and flying. Like, that is a very unique typing for several reasons. So, fighting types are normally weak to Psychic and flying types. So, normally just Psychic and Flying types. Now, when you add the... and they're also weak against fairy types. So, you kind of have a lot going on here. With the flying type included, you're also weak to electric types. So, electric and ice types. So, it's good and it's bad at the same time. Because there is a lot of ice types, or just like a lot of Pokemon that have ice moves. A good thing to know is like Icy Wind with like Driplim. Or like Ice Beam with Azu. So there's a lot of things that Hawlucha kind of has to look out for. However, if you're able to keep it away from those, can be really dang good in Pokemon Go. So the thing about Hawlucha is that other than these weaknesses, it also has a ton of resistance. Well, not a ton of resistances. It has a pretty, like, it's really interesting because it's a fighting type that resists fighting. Which is really ironic. It's a fighting type that literally resists fighting types. It also resists Bug, Ground, Dark, and Grass. So it's a very interesting mon because it has a lot of coverages of what you would normally be like. It's really interesting. That's basically, it's really interesting. But it also has a great stat spread. So it has a very balanced stat pool, decent attack, and balanced attack and stamina. And it maxes out in your 20s for 10. So a Hawlucha at level 50 might actually be pretty dang good for Ultra Premier or even for Great League. We'll look at both of the versions and we'll analyze both of them for this analysis. But anyways, Hawlucha is the luchador bird. It's amazing. That's all I gotta say. Look how majestic it is. It's so cool. Anyways, Hawlucha, what else makes Hawlucha really good? It has a really interesting move pool. Now, while Hawlucha doesn't have counter like a lot of other fighting types do, and counter actually is really, really good, it has Wing Attack, Poison Jab, Low Kick. So Low Kick is horrible, we're not looking at Low Kick. However, it does have Wing Attack. With Wing Attack plus Sky Attack, not just its fast move, so Wing Attack's a good move. Poison Jab's also really interesting. I don't really know a scenario where you're going to use Poison Jab, but it also generates energy quickly, and it can kind of be like, I guess, spicy coverage, I suppose. But because it has Wing Attack, it's able to generate energy quickly, which leads to its fast moves. It has a ton of great, and it's kind of weird, but it has a ton of great moves. For example, it has Flying Press, an incredibly powerful fighting type attack. It also has Sky Attack, Pup, and X Scissors. So there's a lot of things you can do with Hawlucha. Hawlucha is an incredibly interesting mon in Pokemon Go. Like I said, great moveset, great stats, and it's 75k dust, so it's a little on the expensive side. If you do end up powering one up, it is going to go all the way up to like level 21, 22. Of course, if you're going to use it for Ultra League or Ultra Premier, you're going to have to max out level 40. But because it has Wing Attack, and it has a good fast move, and it has a really interesting move pool for charge moves, it looks to be something that's going to be really interesting in Pokemon Go, particularly PvP. Alright, so for the PvPoke.com analysis, we're going to look at Hawlucha in Ultra and Great League, Ultra Premier, and for Great League. So, for here, I'm going to do a little thing that's interesting. So, here's a Hawlucha, both Wing Attack and Poison Jab. Now, you could do other movesets. We're just going to look at the number 1 recommended one, and I do agree, Sky Attack is really powerful. Flying Press does a huge amount of damage. And we're going to just look at the odds. Now, for one of them, I actually have it at level 50, as you see here. At level 50 to max out. So Hawlucha can go all the way up to level 50, so we're going to do it this way. Level 50 Hawlucha, as you see right here. And max out 0, 15, 15 is the perfect one for level 50. So we're going to see just how level 40 and level 50 will impact Hawlucha, because as you see, it maxes out at level 49, so it can be really good. I also put the Poison Jab version here. Now, this is the one shield for Ultra League. So as you see in the one shield in Ultra League, we hit battle, and you get... As you see here, the level 41 and the level 51 do matter. As you see, the level 50 version is actually able to flip the matchup with Obama Snow, which is pretty huge. You beat Charizard. You do lose against things like Clefable, Cresselia, Charmers, Confusion users, etc. The level 50 version is able to beat Dragonite, but you lose against Shadow Dragonite. So it looks like there are some like heavy hitting mons do matter. As you see here with Wing Attack, Sky Attack, and Fighting Press, you're able to beat Empoleon in the one shield, as well as Scavalier and Ferrothorn. You do lose against a ton of things in Ultra, just because Ghost does resist fighting, and like I said, there's a lot of things with like rock types, and I mean not really rock types, but there's a lot of things that can like bury under a bunch of rocks or just like do a bunch of damage to you. As you see here, you lose against Lapras, especially with the Ice Beam variation, because you do get Ice Beam down. The level 50 variation has a better matchup, but generally you want to keep it away from Hawlucha's weaknesses. Then again, this is Open Ultra, so like, I don't think Hawlucha, as you see here, Hawlucha wouldn't perform very well in Open Ultra against like some meta, but it also does very well against some things, like against, you beat Machamp, you're actually able to beat Melmetal, because Melmetal's superpower, like you do resist superpower, so you're able to resist superpower, but rocks do neutral damage against you. So Hawlucha is a very interesting Pokemon in that perspective. As you see, Melmetal drops a bunch of rocks at you with a little bit of HP left with the level 50 variant. You lose the 1 shield, but you beat it in the 2 shield. As you see, you just go straight Flying Press. So, Flying Press does a ton of damage if it lands, as you see 138. So then, like, it can... There's a lot of things you can do with Hawlucha. So, you beat Alolan Muck, you beat Obstagoon, Poliwrath, Registeel, which is pretty notable. You beat Scizor as well. And you lose against... I don't know why this is flipped like that. I'm guessing this is kind of like a CMP or something, but you can beat Snorlax too. And Toxicroak and so on. But Hawlucha, I wouldn't use it in Open... This is Open Ultra. I wouldn't use Hawlucha in Open Ultra. You have plays, but with things like Giratina running around, Lapras, like I said, you want to keep it away from Ice types because it is weak to that. So Giratina is Lapras. And... there's a lot of things like Dragonites, etc. that could probably take you out. Well, not really Dragonite so much. Scavalier is another notable one. You do lose against some pretty relevant. You even lose against Swampert pretty convincingly, even if you're level 50. So there's a lot of things you kind of want to avoid. Also, there is Togekiss and Clefable in these leagues, so just be careful. Be mindful of those as well. Alright, so here's Ultra Premier. So what I did here is that I put Poison Jab, Hawlucha as well. I definitely recommend you just go Wing Attack, Sky Attack. I mean, Poison Jab can have use, but just really depends what you're doing. So if you see here, we go down. So if we go down to the Matrix, I think here's, I'm going to run the windshield just in case again. As you see, you beat Bama with the level 51. You also have stronger matchups, of course, since it's level 50. Level 50 is also able to beat Dragonite. As you see, the level 40 Wing Attack and the level 40 Poison Jab do not. However, you're able to beat things like Empoleon, Excavalier. Remember I mentioned the thing about Drifblim with Ice or like Charmers, etc. You just have to make sure you avoid those as much as you can. You do beat Kingdra. Well, this is really weird. So this matchup is very, very strange against Kingdra. I'm assuming... So the thing about Hawlucha is this Dragon Breath just does a ton of damage, which is a big issue. As you see, Hawlucha isn't the thickest thing in the land, so unfortunately it will outpace you, as you see here, Octazooka, etc. Now, there's different things you can run. This is just the moveset with kind of Hawlucha with Flying Press. You can run Pup and Sky Attack, you can run different things.
But this is just the general moveset. I can imagine if you use Pup, you can kind of like create some extra plays, etc. But I'll do more experimentation when the actual rankings come out, because that's when you can actually like see what you win against, what you lose against, and just how dominant Amon is, because when it's scaled up with everything else. But this is when Hawlucha is released, like I mentioned. You do beat Machamp, of course, because you're a flying type, you have wing attack. You also beat Shadow Champ. You beat Alolan Muck, you also beat Obstagoon, Poliwrath, Scizor, and it looks like you're also able, like I said, you're able to beat Snorlax and Stratos Snorlax. Now, you lose against Swampert just because it does outpace you, sadly. Well, this is with this moveset. I think with the Pup moveset, you can kind of create some extra things, so then we'll look at that in a sec. So, as you see, you beat Toxicroak and Venusaur as well. So, it's just really, really interesting, like, how everything goes together in Ultra Premier when it comes to Hawlucha. Alright, we covered Ultra Premier, and now here's a quick coverage on Great League. Hawlucha can work in Great League. The issue with Hawlucha in Great League, it really depends which moveset you run. Well, for Hawlucha in all leagues, this is pretty much it. You have a lot of flexibility with Hawlucha, which makes it really good. However, you kind of need to be a little fancy, because like I said before, when it comes to things that you're weak against, like Abomasnow, and just things that deal heavy amounts of damage, unfortunately, Hawlucha doesn't have that, like, standing power. Like, it has great stats, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, it's not gonna, like, destroy the meta or anything like something like Aegislash, just because it's so powerful. So, as you see Hawlucha in Great League, you're able to take down things like Bastiodon, Ferrothorn, Lapper. You're able to take, this is all the one shield, by the way, so this could change in the twos and the two shields, etc. It could flip, but as you see, here's just the ones. But you're able to beat a variety of things in the one shield. However, you do lose hard against flyers and psychic types, and just some other typings as well. So, this is what makes it a little difficult to run Hawlucha. You do beat a wide variety of Great League mons. As you see, you beat Swampert, Toxicroak, Tropius, Vigoroth, and one shield. But, so it looks, like, playable. It looks like, it's not really, it's good in Great League, but just to, like, what extent is really just, like, it depends. For example, like, against Charmers and Confusion users, which are a lot more plentiful in Great League, as you see, Wigglytuff just absolutely dominates you. There's really not much you can do against Wigglytuff, unfortunately. And it kind of just, like, yeah, it's very rough. It's really rough to play Hawlucha in just to, like, it still can be good. The issue is just, like, Psychic and Charmers, with, like, every fighter's problem. Because Confusion users and Fairies do so much damage, especially Charm, you kind of need to keep Hawlucha away because he's not, like, super thick. But other than that, Hawlucha is good for, like, many leagues. He's, like, it's able to really do a lot of damage, and especially with, like, shield advantage, or, like, you have a positive matchup, it can do pretty dang well. But it has to avoid its weaknesses at all costs, just because it's not super bulky, but it can deal, like I said, it can dish out a ton of damage. Alright, so here's the Pokemoners analysis. As you see, it's pretty much the same thing. It's gonna take 5k for you to walk. Now, for sheer realization, I usually will say it's Hawlucha, not Hawlucha. I say one of my buddies. So a long time ago, this is like when like Gen 6 first came out. One of my buddies would pronounce it, and he said Hawlucha for like 1,000 times. That's why instead of saying Aegislash, I say Aegislash, because it's Aegislash instead of Aegis, and then like it's really weird. Anyways, it kind of just stuck with me, and I keep forgetting about it, but like it's what it is. So Hawlucha, as you see here, I kind of wish it had counter, because like here's the thing about Hawlucha. Hawlucha is like one of the mons with like, there's not many in like this meta that have wing attack. As you see, there's not like, well, if we do a complete search for wing attack, only 4 Pokemon in the entirety of Gen 6 have wing attack. Hawlucha, Noibat, and that's pretty much it. Literally just those 2 mons have wing attack. Now, it's not that bad considering wing attack isn't the best move in the world, but it generates a decent amount of energy, and like I said, I wish Hawlucha had something like counter, but we'll go over that for the technical summary. Anyways, Hawlucha is really, like, it's good. Of course, you can play around with its versatile moveset. It has Flying Press, Sky Attack, X-Scissor, and Pup, so then you can kind of, like, do some fancy plays with it. And it does have Poison Jab, so it makes it even more interesting that this Pokemon, like, has such a unique moveset. So for Hawlucha, I give Hawlucha a 7 out of 10. It's really interesting. So Hawlucha is one of those mons where I kind of wish it had counter, and then it would be like much better. As you see, you got Poison Jab, Flying Press, Sky Attack. There's like different variations for it. I think it would shine best in Ultra Premier, where if you wanted to use it for like PvP, as you see here, we run the one shield 57, so it's not that great as you see down shields in the zeros. If you give it wing attack, things kind of change a little bit. As you see here, here's the one shield for Ultra Premier. And then if you run wing attack, it gets a little better. So anything like, I can't give it an 8 because it just loses too many things. Unfortunately, Hawlucha isn't like the thickest thing in the world, so because of that, you're gonna lose a lot of like things against mainly like electric types, ice types. Anything it's weak against, it can't take too much damage, which is just a big issue with Hawlucha. So, like I said, if it had counter, it would be counter is just such a good move. This is the difference. As you see, 62%, watch what happens. You give it counter, 73, a huge improvement. Counter would make Hawlucha like much, because counter is like literally the best fast move overall in the game as terms of like sheer damage. As far as like energy gain, like everything, counter is just such a ridiculously good move. And that's why it gets such a good rating when you put counter on Hawlucha. Unfortunately, because it doesn't have this as wing attack poison jab, it can be used, but you would have to be really skilled to play it. Just because you do have to pivot away from electric types, electric type, ice types, charmers, even confusion users, which can be very plentiful. As you see, confusion users, they would actually just rock your world. Hawlucha's still looking to be really good. I would definitely get a good one for PvP, because if Hawlucha does get if it does get some magical like buff or something like that, something happens, it could be like really good. It also has a really versatile moveset. As you see, Power Up Punch actually gives it a higher rating just because you're able to bait more. So you also have the option of using Pup. Flying Plus just does so much damage. As you see here, the tides change even more, like things get better when you use Pup versus Flying Press, just because you're able to bait. And your wing attacks do more damage. But like, it just really depends. It's very situational for Hawlucha, unfortunately. That's why I give it a 7 out of 10. So, is it good? Yes. Is it really good? Not really. Like, Hawlucha won't break the meta. It'll do some damage, and it can do some damage, depending how the meta shapes out. But overall, because it doesn't have something like counter, that's what hurts Hawlucha. It has good stats. It has good attack, defense, and stamina. Like I said, level 50 is probably where it's going to be at. If you want to use it for Ultra League, you're kind of need one at level 50 just to like make it a little better. But Hawlucha, other than that, is looking pretty... It's solid in Premier Cup. Is it going to absolutely like destroy the meta? Probably not. Still something, if you want to run something spicy that can deal a decent amount of damage, and if you put it against positive matchups, can actually be really good. Hawlucha is what you're looking for. Just make sure you avoid you have to avoid its typings at all costs because it's squishy. But other than that, Hawlucha looks like it's going to be something worth looking at when Generation 6 comes out. Okay, so if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. Hawlucha, I'm a huge fan of it. Like, it was really good. It's really good in the main series game. Fortunately for Pokemon Go, without counter, I can't really... Yeah, without counter, I can't give it anything higher than a 7. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, Hawlucha's still good. It's still good. If you want to use something spicy, you encounter this thing, you got a pause matchup, it can really get you some W's. And I'll see you guys on the next video.